Hello everyone, and we're continuing our series on geography. So today, I'm Sufi Arshan Aziz Faruq, and we're going to cover the geography of the United States, my personal favorite country. So the United States is the world's most unique country by far, and the hardest to explain in terms of general being. But let me get to it. So the United States is a federal democracy which constitutes 50 states. The 48 you see on the board here, and another two, Alaska and Hawaii. Here we have the 48 most important areas of the United States. So I'm going to get into some general states as well as try to say the names of every state and point out their geography, as well as also point out some personal facts I know about the United States. So this is going to be a long ride, but I hope you guys enjoy. So let's start with some famous states. Let's get the famous stuff out of the way first. First, we have New York. New York is most well known for New York City. Yes, not much besides that. New York City is the US's largest city by far, with over 8 million people, and is one of the world's most important cities in terms of trade and commerce. Next, we come to Florida, which has many diverse cities, and the most famous being Miami. Florida is well known for its beaches, murders, and shark attacks. But the state has gained some popularity in recent years due to the fact that it seems to be one of the most popular destinations most people seem to move to as of recently. The US has been having a mass exodus, so most people have been going to the states of Texas and Florida, and these other states here. Speaking of Texas, here we have Texas, known as the largemouth state in the United States, due to the fact that it has a history with gun violence, and still does. The Texans are well known for their very loose gun laws and the fact that they suffer a lot of mass shootings every year. And sadly, this results in a lot of school shootings too, such as the Uvalde shooting last year. I think it's Uvalde, I don't know. So in the meantime, Texas has not had that much popularity, but it has been gaining due to the fact that due to it having the US's largest oil mine, as well as the fact that it also has the fastest growing cities in terms of population, the state has been very influential in recent years, due to the cities of Houston, Dallas, Austin, and El Paso. The city is well known for Mexican immigrants and other people moving around the United States to do job stuff. Let's get to California, known as the mover state and the homeless state, and the many-thing else state. California is personally my favorite state, and I plan to move there myself. The problem is it's expensive. Like, pretty much the most famous thing about California is that it's expensive, which doesn't make it too surprising because it seems to be a popular destination for rich celebrities. It's because California has had a history with its beachside resorts, its popular surroundings, and that. Despite its biggest city, LA, being most well known for its films, it's still an important city in terms of trade, commerce, business, and everything else. So the city isn't that primarily for celebrities. It still needs workers and other important individuals whose primary purpose is to do the business and commerce in the city. Its other important cities, like San Francisco, its most expensive city and one of my favorite cities, but because of that reason, yes. San Francisco, Sacramento, and San Jose are the Californians' most important cities besides the whole acting thing, and San Diego. San Diego is the emigration area due to the fact it borders Mexico. Here. San Jose is known as the Silicon Valley due to it being the center of technology in North America and the world in general. San Francisco is well known for being one of the most unique cities in the United States, but at the same time, it faces a serious issue in its pursuit of being a mostly tech-centered city. So as a result, it's notoriously expensive and very few people actually go there. and the population is dropping from 800,000 people to likely 700,000 people by 2025. And next we get to some other states that have been famous for other reasons. Illinois. Illinois has been famous for its appearance in movies and for the city of Chicago. That's it. Ohio. Ohio, you may have seen the internet recently and are well known with the Ohio memes. That's the US's most weirdest state, and that by far. But the thing is that it is technically still a very important state in terms of population. The weirdest things about Ohio are actually pretty not that real, since it was the location for many of the US's stuff that did give some disastrous times for the country. And it also just happens to have one of the dangerous cities in the entire world, which is Cleveland. That would explain why the state has such a bad population reputation in the internet. Michigan, one of my personal favorite states, due to the city of Detroit. It's one of my most favorite cities. The state itself is home to the largest Muslim population in the United States, and it is also a second best area for Bangladeshi immigrants next to New York. Then we have Louisiana. Now, there's nothing particularly famous about Louisiana other than the city of New Orleans and possibly the video game Resident Evil 7 and the show The Secrets of Sulphur Springs, which are all set in Louisiana. Then we have Georgia, or Atlanta specifically. Moving on. Then we have North Carolina, known as the home of Mr. Beast. So let's get to the ones on the continental United States. We have Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, Idaho, Washington State, Oregon, and California. Alaska and Hawaii. Phew, that was a lot. So these states are famous for their own ways. Rhode Island is particularly famous for not being an island and being the setting for Family Guy. Hope most of you may have watched that show. As I said already, New York is pretty much only famous because of New York City in general. And most of you may have heard of New York City and know why it's famous. Maine in particular doesn't have anything special. New Hampshire and Vermont may have the same things. The only thing special about Vermont is that it seems to have a particularly small population, which is a bit surprising for a state supposed to be on the East Coast, which is the reason why housing prices there are surprisingly cheap. Then we have New Jersey and Delaware, which is only known for being the first ever US state. Then we have Connecticut, which is famous for the Salem witch trials. And then West Virginia and Virginia are pretty much not known for much. Ohio is known for the internet. Pennsylvania is known for being the US's government state, basically the state where much of the government independently operates. South Carolina is known for having one of the US's largest racist populations, but that's due to its history in the Confederacy of America back in the Civil War. North Carolina is pretty much only known for having a surprisingly large amount of people, it being particularly good in terms of its land, and for having small-scale TikTokers like the Black Badger and Mr. Beast. Tennessee, Kentucky are not that particularly famous. Indiana is popular due to it being the home of the Indianapolis 500, the biggest race in the United States. Next to Daytona, of course, in Florida, but that's one of the minor things about Florida. That's why it makes Indiana more special than Daytona. Then we have Georgia, which is only known for the city of Atlanta. We have Alabama, which is known for incest. I don't want to get too much into that. Mississippi, well known for its murder rates. Moving on. Then we have Louisiana, which is well known for its murder rates and several appearances in not so popular video games. It also has the city of New Orleans, which is one of the US's most important cities, but also a surprisingly dangerous city. But it also appears in the show Resident Evil 7 and the popular Disney show The Secrets of Sulphur Springs. Michigan is only famous for Detroit and Dearborn. Moving on. We then have Illinois, which is famous for Chicago, as I said earlier. Wisconsin was actually the US's best state, but has declined recently, and now it's more likely to be Georgia. This is the forgotten section, an area in the United States most well known for rednecks, violence, and pretty much nothing in total. This is the US area by far which is the most underpopulated and the most uninteresting, that being due to its natural landscapes. It is home to the most deserts in the United States and the Rocky Mountains, as well as the only major state here, Oklahoma and Kansas. Kansas being known for some small-scale things, particularly due to having the very center of the United States put into it. Then Oklahoma is known for Oklahoma City and the Oklahoma City bombing. Sensitive, shouldn't tell about that. Missouri, which coincidentally has Kansas City, a city that's supposed to be in Kansas, but it's actually in Missouri. Don't ask me how. Then Iowa, which is nothing special in particular. Minnesota, having one of the best neighborhood areas in the United States. North Dakota and South Dakota, they're well known for their winters and rather massive amounts of junkyards. Then we have Nebraska, which is not known for much. New Mexico is known for Breaking Bad, and the cities of Albuquerque and Santa Fe, which are actually really good. Colorado, or the state which has Denver, as well as being featured in some popular horror films like The Black Phone. Then we have Wyoming, or the redneck state, well known for having the largest murder rate in the United States, for guns at least, and also being pretty much known for that. Then we have Montana, which is an isolated US state, but relatively known for having quite a few base operations due to being close to the Canadian border. Then they have Idaho, which is possibly the state most well known for its farmlands. Southern Idaho in particular is a little uninhabited. So this whole region happens to be the largest crop growing area in the United States. Sort of. There is the Great Plains located here, but they are largely left out due to the fact that they are a bit too incoherent. But they usually consist of Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota and South Dakota, and maybe a part of North Dakota. Then we have Nevada, which is mostly desolate and is only home to the Nevada desert. But it is home to two locations that have become ingrained in American society. One is Area 51, the classified military base that the US uses to carry operations, and possibly Las Vegas, the Sin City, as people like to call it, due to its controversial allowing of weird stuff, but I wouldn't explain much into that. Just search it up if you wish. And all that. But Las Vegas is a famous city for being the center of partying and entertainment in the United States, at least in terms of non-internet areas. In terms of general, what's the entertainment capital? That's Hollywood in California. California is possibly the US's most unique state since it has the largest entertainment center in the United States and is home to a majority of its actors and celebrities, as well as some unique business areas, and other important ventures. Its biggest cities, LA, San Francisco, San Jose, San Diego, and Sacramento, are well known for being some major cities in the United States. Oregon. It's primarily known for Portland, Oregon, a city which was primarily one of the safest in the United States, but at the same time is a city well known for its drug abuse. Don't ask me what happened to Portland, Oregon. I just can't tell myself. Just search it up if you wish. Then we have Washington and the city of Seattle, one of the best areas in the United States in terms of living costs. Sure, it has gone up in recent years and people are migrating out of those areas, but Seattle, Washington, and Washington State itself is one of the best areas in the US to be in general, due to it being a relatively quiet city, not much happening, and just generally being somewhere you'd like to live. And it's close to the Canadian border, which is the best part. So this is the general geography of the United States on the mainland. Now we'll discuss the geographies of Alaska and Hawaii. This is Alaska, which is located in the northwest of Canada. This state is well known for its violent crime rates, being ice cold, and in general just having the most well-placed city in the United States, Anchorage, located right here. And its most central city, Fairbanks, being a popular city mentioned in Call of Duty. Well, only in Call of Duty. That's pretty much all what Fairbanks is known for. Now we go to Hawaii. And this is the Hawaiian Islands, or Hawaii in general, known as the general paradise of the United States. Or the United States is Cuba, basically. In this state, it's safe, it's fun, and there's lots of history and culture. Hawaii is the most popular tourist destination in the United States in terms of hanging out. There's lots of partying, there's lots of that, and it's highly remote too. You don't expect much danger to come in from outside. And Hawaii is also a great place to live in. At least 1 million people in general live in Hawaii, which isn't too many people, but when you consider that there are less than 5,000 living in Wyoming and Alaska, well, you can understand that this is a generally great place. The only reason why it's not that massive populated is because it's a small island chain. How can you possibly fit so many people in there? The three major cities are Honolulu, Kahuku, and Hilo, which are named after Native American names. Wait, is it Native American? No. It's not Native American. It's just general settlers who first settled in Hawaii, which could technically be considered Native Americans, but they're not. Just because it's owned by the United States does not mean it's a part of the Americas. The US has several overseas territories like Puerto Rico, American Samoa, the US Virgin Islands. I can't really show all of them because they're complicated business, but you can search them up. Puerto Rico is well known for being, Puerto Rico basically, a popular center for Latin immigration to the general continuous United States. And the US Virgin Islands being known for their names. I don't know why did they name them that. Although it's similar to the British Virgin Islands, located not that far. We have American Samoa, which is closer to Southeast Asia. Don't ask me why, but it is quite spread out in that. Then we have Guam, which is well known for having a US military base. Then we have Diego Garcia, located in the Indian Ocean. Yeah, the US has many overseas territories, none of which are official states in the United States. For some reason, the country prefers to keep it 50 states. However, it still claims those territories as official US land. And that was the geography of the United States.